Now look, today we're talking about a massive lawsuit that just dropped and has the whole hip hop world buzzing. Rapper Fat Joe, and yes, I'm talking about the Fat Joe, is being accused from everything from sexual coercion to statutory misconduct and even physical abuse by his former hype man of 16 years, Terrance T.A. Dixon. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. This situation is heavy, disturbing, and complex. So look, y'all sit back and relax and stay until the end of this episode because we about to dive right in. Welcome back to another episode of Eyes Low, Belly Full. As y'all know, this marks episode number 65. Now, if you don't know, Fat Joe, also known as Joseph Cartagena, is a legendary Bronx-born rapper known for hits like Lean Back and What's Love. But the man behind his live shows, ad-libs, and stage hype for over a decade, his name was T.A. Dixon. And he pretty much traveled the world with Fat Joe from 2005 to 2020. But on June 19, 2025, Dixon filed a lawsuit in federal court. One that says that Fat Joe didn't just only underpay him or steal his work, but allegedly subjected him to years of abuse, coercion, and exploitation. Now, according to the 56-page complaint, Dixon claims that over a 16-year span, Fat Joe coerced him into performing over 4,000 sexual acts. And this was usually only women that Joe selected or approved of. You feel me? And then on top of that, he had to do it while others watched. Now, he says that this wasn't consensual in the way you would expect. Dixon describes it as part of a control tactic that pretty much Fat Joe used on him to pretty much test his loyalty, manipulate and humiliate him psychologically. And damn, it's crazy. I mean, he even said that he was filmed or monitored during some of these encounters. And he was also threatened of being left behind during international trips if he didn't comply. Now, make sure y'all brace yourselves because it gets even darker. Dixon also claims that Fat Joe had sexual relationships with underage girls, including a 15-year-old and two 16-year-olds. And in one case, he claims that Fat Joe gave a girl money in exchange for sexual acts. And another girl received luxury gifts, a BBL, and even international flights.
So I'm going to read through a few of the pages from this Fat Joe lawsuit that was brought forth by his former hype man by the name of Terrance Dixon. He's suing the rapper for a substantial amount of money for a bunch of claims that he has made against the rapper. Defendant Fat Joe's control over plaintiff extended far beyond mere financial exploitation or denial of credit. Over 16 years, defendant cultivated a deliberate environment of psychological manipulation, intimidation, and persistent threats to ensure plaintiffs' continued submission, silence, and loyalty despite ongoing abuse, exploitation, and humiliation. The defendant employed persistent verbal abuse, threats of physical violence, erratic and insufficient payment, manipulative control over travel and accommodations. Plaintiff was routinely coerced into engaging in sexual acts with women, specifically brought by defendant Fat Joe to hotel rooms and private gatherings following performances and studio events. Defendant Fat Joe frequently arranged and orchestrated these encounters, intentionally creating scenarios. Defendant Fat Joe regularly monitored these encounters closely, frequently remaining in the room to watch, record, or provide explicit direction and commands. Minor Doe 1 is a 16-year-old Dominican girl residing in New York. In exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill, defendant would get oral X and other sexual acts performed on him by Minor Doe 1. Minor Doe 2 Minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female. The defendant began having sexual relations with Minor Doe 2 when she was just 15 years old. Defendant flew Minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions. Due to Minor Doe's 2 body being adolescent and not fully formed, defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. Minor Doe 3 with her friends from high school the same time she was being trafficked by defendant. Minor Doe 3 is a Latino female who met the defendant when she was just 15 years old, turning 16. According to plaintiff, defendant was in love with Minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid all Minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and will put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house from his wife. In a recorded conversation, Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for defendant, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. So in the complaint, he added in the lyrics to the song that he's referencing, and some of the first lyrics are, "Now she was only 16. I had to nurture that, give her some growth, waited till I teach the cat." Very interesting.
Now, Dixon says that he witnessed and knew about these relationships, but he just felt pressured to stay silent. And this ain't just about the alleged sexual misconduct. Dixon also claims that he was also financially exploited. He says he wrote lyrics, hooks, and background vocals for major Fat Joe tracks like Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over. Yet he received no credit and very little compensation. And on top of that, the lawsuit says that Fat Joe's team also misused Dixon's tax filings. I mean, it was alleged that they reported false income and also manipulated tax documents to hide the contributions that Dixon made to the music and the brand. Now, if true, this wouldn't just be immoral. This can be a serious case of labor fraud and wage theft. And Fat Joe's legal team, which is led by a high-power attorney, Joe Tacopina, has fired back hard. I mean, they done called the entire lawsuit a complete fabrication and pretty much an extortion attempt. Matter of fact, back in April of 2025, Fat Joe actually sued Dixon first for defamation, claiming that Dixon and his lawyer was trying to shake Fat Joe down for money, pretty much. Basically saying that they was going to go public with some wild stories, just like how Dixon just did. Now, Joe's team says the authorities are aware of the accusations and also say that they believe that the accusations will be proven false in court. Now, if things couldn't get any worse, Dixon isn't just going after Fat Joe. The lawsuit also names Rock Nation, Jay-Z's entertainment company, for allegedly helping to cover up and suppress Dixon's unpaid royalties. Other names mentioned include Pistol Pete, Rich Player, and also Joe's current attorney. Now, Dixon says that they all either witnessed the abuse or helped maintain a culture of silence around it. And this lawsuit can open up the door for criminal charges, especially given the claims of sexual acts with minors and also trafficking across state lines. I mean, Dixon's lawyer even compared this to the RICO-style sexual abuse cases that we've seen in the recent years. But as of right now, this is just a civil case, which means it's all about money and damages, and Dixon is suing for $20 million. And depending on what evidence comes out, we can see investigations from federal and state prosecutors. Now, the statute of limitations could be a factor, but if underage victims comes forward, that would change the whole game. But in the meantime, both lawsuits, which are Fat Joe's defamation claims from April and Dixon's federal suit, they're both active. Now, whether these allegations are true or not, this story is a reminder of how complex and dark the entertainment industry can get behind the scenes. Now, I want to hear what y'all think about this. Is Dixon telling the truth? Is this revenge? Or is this a serious cover-up finally being exposed? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And also, if this video resonated with you, go ahead and hit that like button. Give me a thumbs up. And also subscribe and hit that bell notification for more episodes. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Peace.